What first-time puppy owners should know, according to dog experts. New research finds new puppy parents sometimes struggle with time management and other issues. We asked experts for tips to ensure that all members of a household thrive. A female mixed-breed puppy rests on a woman's leg. New research suggests some people underestimate the responsibilities that come with owning a puppy. Photographed by Corrine Ainer, Nat Geo Image Collection. Getting a new puppy may sound like a recipe for cuddles, playtime, and a loyal companion. But a study published recently in PLOS One reminds us that puppy ownership comes with significant challenges, including small bites, chewed-up furniture, sleep disruptions, and schedule upheavals. For some new dog owners, a furry friend seems to create more stress than they expected. Experts say preparation is the key to successful relationship between dog and owners. To that end, here are some tips for anyone considering acquiring a puppy, especially first-time owners who might not know what to expect from these boisterous balls of energy. Bringing a pup home for the right reasons. The joy of having a dog in your life is that this is a highly social being who's going to be very responsive to you, who's going to greet you when you come home, who's going to snuggle with you when you're watching TV, says Clive Wynn, a behavioral scientist and founding director of the Canine Science Collaboratory at Arizona State University. In the new study, scientists surveyed several hundred people who acquired puppies in the United Kingdom during the COVID-19 pandemic. We found a big uptick in first-time dog owners, often seeking a puppy as a mental health booster, particularly for their families, says Rowena Packer, a senior lecturer in companion animal behavior and welfare science at the Royal Veterinary College in the UK, who led the new study. Though many respondents reported that their pups made them happy, a third of primary puppy caregivers said that the experience was more challenging than expected in terms of workload and care. Going to vet appointments, buying food, and walks with the dog all take time. Even a 13-year-old boy said he didn't think owning a dog would be so hard. Since not everyone gets a mental health boost from getting a puppy, it should not be a primary reason for taking the plunge, experts say. Dog ownership can bring joy, but caring for a puppy can be more challenging than expected, especially for first-time owners, says Katrina Holland, social research manager at Dogs Trust, the largest dog welfare charity in the UK, in an email. It's important that people know they're not alone and feel encouraged to seek support early on. Breeds matter, but dogs are still individuals. Dogs come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Every dog pedigree has its own generalized needs in terms of exercise, social stimulation, and diet, but it's also important to remember that each dog is unique, regardless of ancestry. You have to take each dog as an individual, Wynn says. Like siblings in the same family, every dog has its own personality and temperament. Indeed, even literal clones of dogs will differ from each other due to their unique upbringings. In his 2019 book Dog is Love, Wynn describes a man so besotted with his dog that he paid for 2 cloned offspring. These 3 dogs are genetically identical, but their behavior is quite different, Wynn says. One of the clones was really extroverted, the other was really introverted. Tiny differences in life experience, from the moment of conception, gradually snowball and you can develop quite different personalities. In other words, the experience you may have had with a certain breed in the past should not necessarily dictate your choice of breed for a new dog. What's more, make sure you research the source of your dog carefully. The same goes for puppy trainers, Wynn says, especially in the United States where dog training services are largely unregulated. Ensuring safety for both dogs and humans. It's also important to understand how to safely interact with puppies, especially if you have kids at home. The new survey from Packer's team revealed that many caregivers allowed children to interact with puppies in ways that could raise the likelihood of bites, such as hugging, disturbing dogs during mealtimes, or even pulling on their ears or tail. These negative interactions were more common during the pandemic because many people spent more time at home, providing more opportunities for children, who were themselves often bored, stressed, or lonely, to accidentally push their puppies' boundaries. We know across the world during the pandemic, there were unfortunate peaks in pediatric admissions due to dog bites, says Packer. Although we don't want children to be scared of dogs, we do want them to interact in a way that is safe for them and is safe for that dog. Family conversations about appropriate behaviors toward a new puppy, and boundary setting imposed by adults, can prevent unfortunate accidents, like bites or scratches. Maria Kyle, Applied Insights Manager at Dogs Trust, recommends what she calls the ABCs of being a dog's best friend. A stands for showing dogs affection in ways they understand, B means giving dogs space when they are busy, and C means giving dogs choice in every interaction. These address the child behaviors that commonly precede a dog bite and shape alternative, prosocial behaviors that build a safe and loving relationship, Kyle says in an email. Equally important is effective caregiver supervision, supported by interventions that guide adults on how to stay close, step in, and separate when needed. Delegating caregiving. Before getting a new puppy, consider discussing how caregiving responsibilities will be split among members of your household. Packer and her colleagues had anticipated that the burden of puppy caregiving would fall primarily on women, but even they were surprised that women accounted for 95% of caregivers in the survey. A female caregiver of one child reports in the survey that dog-related stress may have made her less patient with her own child. The dog's difficulty being left alone has at times severely restricted my life, she adds. Another female caregiver to 2 children says that she felt a bit resentful that the children did not do what they promised to do when they got the dog and help out with him. While Packer's team focused on families with young children, Wynn noted that any prospective dog owner should be sure they can budget the necessary time for their dogs. This animal is not a smart device you can unplug when you go out and not worry about it, Wynn says. It's unreasonable to leave your dog home alone for extended periods. Consider not just your own needs, but also the consequences your behavior could have on a dog for the rest of its life. Research shows that puppies that experience neglect, abuse, or trauma are more likely to develop fears, anxiety, and problematic behaviors as adults. For instance, a new study that followed 4,500 dogs across nearly 20 years revealed that puppies that experienced adversity in the first 6 months of their lives were much more likely to exhibit fearful or aggressive behaviors in adulthood. Make sure your schedule can accommodate giving your puppy adequate time and attention to thrive. The pup shot. While puppies are unbelievably cute, they are also a damn nuisance, Wynn said. He recommends dog lovers in search of a pooch, especially first-time owners, consider adopting an older dog from a shelter. Packer and her colleagues found that most owners love their pandemic puppies, and only 6% of surveyed respondents had considered, or were considering, rehoming their dogs, most of whom were first-time dog owners. That said, 37% of households also struggled to adapt to their new dogs, with about 30% reporting that 2 or more aspects of dog ownership were worse than expected. We're just trying to get across that people really do need their eyes open, and that preparation, although frustrating, could really ameliorate a lot of future heartbreak, Packer concludes. While Wynn and Holland both generally agreed with the conclusions of Packer's team, they also pointed to the study's lack of a substantive control group, in this case, households that acquired puppies before the pandemic, as a key limitation of the results.